host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Well, good Friday morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Coffee Time with Blind United. Of course, I'm Ed, and I'm joined in the studio today. I got George with me today. How you doing, Mr. Zavala?
I'm doing good. I already have my 2 cups of beer, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Okay, well, do what you do. That's all I can say. And then we got Brother Pedro. Good morning, my brother.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing today on this? What? Hey, TGIF. No wonder George got some beer next to him instead of a coffee, guys.
I got my Corona. Orale.
Oh, hey, where the limones?
Well, what they say, cerveza, breakfast of champions.
Well, remember, folks, is how you say Spanish and Friday in Spanish? Beerness.
I haven't learned that yet.
That's an impossible joke. But anyways.
Well, I mean, look, y'all don't. All y'all need to do is the wind to blow, and y'all have a party. So.
True. No comment on that one.
But anyway, it is Friday, y'all, and we do have a couple different interest groups today. We got 2. We have what I want to call it, but anyway, is Greg Hoffman. So he works for the Department of Rehab here in California. So if you're having any issues with your rehab case or whatever, you're trying to figure out how to get your rehab counselor to cooperate and, go with your plan rather than their plan for you, Greg is your man. He can come tell you how to, work around that kind of stuff and, the proper procedures. What is allowed, what is not allowed within Department of Rehab. So, again, if you got any DOR questions, he's here for you today at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And for those that might be listening in, the art here in California, understand Department of Rehab is not just California. Department of Rehab is actually a federal program. It's implemented by each state, so there's certain guidelines and regulations that go regardless of what state you live in. So, I mean, they might have their own little twist on it per state, but the basic guidelines and stuff are all the same. So, again, even if you live in another state, Greg can help you out, for the most part. So,
I think some of the fundings come from the WIOA, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So, is that a motorcycle in the background?
I don't know. It sounded like it came from your house.
That was her.
That
I ain't
was
got no
weird.
motorcycles.
That was my mic picking up all that,
Okay, so.
Well, it sounded like surround sound.
But yeah, I am tuning into that class, and I could speak to having some frustrations dealing with the Department of Rehab folks. Sometimes you have a counselor that may not even respond to your email that you dropped like 2, 3 months ago, and they tell you how to do the steps and things like that. And sometimes it gets frustrating when I know they're busy, but sometimes they can't get back to you when it's only convenient there sometimes for them to get back at you when they want you to actually show up and do something at a deadline and they're on it.
Right.
And when I am trying to get some stuff, so I'm having a little bit of not big issues, just little issues that could be resolved, but these have a time frame that they need to be resolved. Otherwise, it's non and void for me, and them not responding within a month. I'm giving them a month, but now I'm down to just giving them a week to my counselor. Otherwise, I'm going above their head, you know what I mean? And it's kind of, I might need to, I'm showing up to the class to ask a few questions because sometimes we do have some counselors that do have a big caseload and they might not get back at you. But man, sometimes 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, man, after that, it's a long time. And then that's why I always keep my records, emails back and forth with the department or just not the department, all over the place. But especially for the department because when I was giving the third notice, yes, guys, I give out first notice, second notice, and third notices, okay? I'm sorry. I just have to be like that sometimes to make sure I got everything in order and I know what I'm doing. So I'm in my second notice. I'm about to do a third one, but the young lady has not replied to me. It took her 3 months to reply to me when this needs to be done in a deadline. And it's frustrating in the same time, you know, that, they're not able to email you back or at least a quick email. The only email I have for my issue is they told me the steps I need to take. I took all the steps and I emailed them everything, right? And she has not got back to me since April, and the deadline was on May. The deadline was in the end of April. She has not got back at me. And I had emailed her in the beginning of January, and it took her April to get in contact with me.
Well, and the beauty of this is Greg is, I'm gonna say he's one of us, and the reason I say that is because I went through training center with Greg. He was actually a great mentor to me as we were coming through rehab. I mean, not rehab, but training center. And I say that because he had been there like 2 3 months before I got there. So a lot of the stuff he had learned in those 2 3 months, he was able to bring me up to speed on, and he helped me with my mobility as far as being independent, being able to rather than wait on them to come pick me up, get on the bus, man. Whatever, work the public transit system. But anyway, again, he's one of us. He left there, went straight through, got his masters, which you got to have now to be a rehab counselor. So he went through, did all of those, and now he's a counselor, and he understands everything we go through because why? He went through it just like we all did.
I
So
got a master's in BS.
I know you do.
A lot of
Uh,
folks do.
Yeah, so but on that note, again, it's 2 p.m. Pacific time, so come check us out. And then later on tonight, it's Friday night, so I'm playing movies again. Every Friday night, I play a movie. So tonight, our movie will be The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis and Chris Tucker. So
Hmm.
I wonder
pretty
if
good.
if it's as good as the sequel, The Sixth Element.
They don't have a sixth element.
Oh, okay, never mind. That was something else.
6 degrees of separation.
Oh, The Sixth Element. That was a porn version. Never mind. Go ahed.
There we go.
Damn.
It's
Okay.
comedy hour on Pedro. So
Hey, it's Friday,
you
guys.
know, so uh,
Unloosen your tie, you know,
right,
unbuckling
right,
one
right, right,
one button from your shirt, whatever it may be.
right. So anyway, I know we all kind of want to touch on this, but we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Well, everybody watched last night. I mean, the debates. I mean, again, it was. Who was it? There's a guy in Dixon White that I watched on YouTube one time. He actually put out a video. It says two white guys arguing over their golf game because there was a part in there where they was actually arguing over their golf game. But anyway,
There
folks,
was.
I mean, was Biden depressing? Was he disappointing? Yes, he was. His age and his speech impediment. It really took a hold of him last night. But again, if you listen to what he was saying, he was cognitive. Where on the other side, it was Trump still doing his typical thing, and denying everything. There was many key things like, would he accept the election? He would
But
never
Mr.
admit
Davis,
that.
one thing that and this kind of goes in line with we say about awareness. A lot of times people associate, like we talked before, like blindness, right? They'll associate blindness with either being deaf or not that smart, and it kind of goes in line with what happened last night. Like what you just said, the president seemed very on point with his remarks. However, the way he spoke and the way that he got confused, and of course that's I shouldn't say typical, but that's unsurprising at his age. But at
Hmm.
the same time, people might say, "Well, see, look, he can't talk, so that means he can't think."
Well, but
So
but if you know anything about his speech impediment, again, he was a very severe stutterer. And if you ever listen to somebody that does stutter, they'll start off trying to say a word, right? And they get stuck, and the word just won't come out, and then they'll change the word. I
no,
associate.
no, no. That's you're making my point. That's what I mean, like
Yeah,
stuttering. You
yeah.
know,
There was a large what he was. A large part of what he did was, to me, was that part. So, I mean, I'm just gonna say this, and this is where I look at. Neither one of them are perfect,
Hmm.
but for me, what's going on right now in this election coming up, I'm sorry, democracy is on the ballot. This is just that simple. Democracy is on the ballot. So, I mean, either you're gonna go. I hate to say it, Joe, because Joe is not the perfect candidate, but again, he'll keep democracy alive. If you go the other way and vote Republican and go with Trump,
Yeah.
you might as well get ready for a monarchy. You might as well get ready
Let
for what?
me let me play devil's advocate. They think the same as you thinking about Biden is going to say democracy. They're thinking Trump is going to save democracy and put law and order. That's how some people are thinking. And the thing about I wanted to say about the speech impairment, I think George has a point, and I might not be using the right word, but I think some folks are ignorant, and even happens to us in a blind community when they come up to us and talk slower or talk louder because they think because we're blind we're not intelligent. It happens
Right.
a lot, and I believe that could be a little bit of what people are kind of entailing right now and panicking. But you know I know they are saying should they replace him and stuff. I think it's too late, in my opinion. They had enough time before in the primaries. That whole thing is over. Now we're on the race. And you have to think who kept dodging all the questions?
Well, and that's what I
Okay.
was saying. I mean, bottom
Who,
line,
yeah.
I mean, Trump was doing the same old spiel. I mean, I'm the greatest this, I'm the greatest that. There was nothing better than what we did. All of this, all of that. When he was asked the really hard questions again, like, the January 6th folks, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't answer those questions. When it
Yeah.
came to, are you going to accept the election? If you lose, he said, well, if it's a free and fair election, that's the same thing he said last time. And what did he
Yeah,
do?
yeah. And look, and that could go anyway. If he feels it was fair because he won, that's because he feels and that's his opinion. And if he
No,
feels like it wasn't fair,
it's
yeah, I
only
know.
fair if he wins.
I know. That's if he
And
wins. So
that's the same thing that happened last time. So again, move away from the people. Look at the issue. The issue is democracy is on the ballot.
but
yeah,
with
but
all that being said, Mr. Davis and Pedro, we have to encourage our platform listeners and watchers to go out there and vote. Now, you might say, "Well, I've never voted before." Well, that doesn't mean you can't. Or I'm blind, I can't vote. Yes, you can. Or I'm in a wheelchair, I can't get to the polling place. So a lot of those barriers have been removed. So
Yes,
the
they have. I
excuses,
vote from right here at the comfort of my house, right where
well, so
I'm
I'm saying a
sitting
lot
at
of the
right now.
excuses have been removed. So it's upon us. We'll sit here and rip, bitch and complain. But we need to go out there and vote. This is what I don't get, Pedro. You probably appreciate this more because you're a tech guy like me. People stand overnight in the cold weather, in tornadoes for an iPhone, but they won't go and vote. You know what I'm
Uh,
It's
saying?
true.
yeah,
So
and I feel because the excitement ain't there. They don't make it easy on us. To tell you the truth, it should be a national holiday. A national holiday. Everybody should have the day off to go vote. You know, and they don't do that.
can,
The melon.
Even
I
though
do.
I don't know if
Uh,
y'all realize it, but there is a law that all employers must give their employees time to go vote that day.
yes,
yeah, but
yes,
but
sir.
see,
It's
that's
not a
not widely
holiday.
known. It's not widely known.
Well, and that's why that's what we're about. I mean, yeah, we're about creating awareness of our community and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's about creating awareness of these other kind of things. I mean, again, we're creating awareness as far as Biden's speech impairment. A lot of
Yeah,
people assuming, because he has this speech impairment that now he's all of a sudden dumb. He's not dumb. If you listen to his answers, he
yeah,
was
yeah.
he was on
But
point with most of his stuff.
so
But
let me say this too. At the same time, we need to understand that to this point, right, 2024, we have Biden and we have Trump. And I heard a commentary on YouTube about, is this the best that we have to offer within the United States? So to me, it's just, we have to understand where we're at. Like, for example, when Trump says about the immigrants coming over here taking our jobs and they kill and rape everybody, that as we know that's incorrect. But he still has a platform where people will listen to that and go on that and react to that. Like for here in El Paso, we had a now I'll say a bastard, a beast that came in April the 19th. I mean April the 3rd, 2019. August. I'm sorry, August the 3rd. I'm doing Biden. August the 3rd, 2019, and he killed 23 people here in El Paso at a Walmart. A lot of people
Right.
because of the verbiage that he heard from the the right wing. But at the end of the day, folks, it's upon us to educate ourselves. If it's Biden or if it's Trump or whoever, RFK or is it JFK or RFK? I think it's Robert, right?
Well,
Robert.
again, and I hate to go
mhm.
back there, but again, yeah, like you said, is this the best we have right now? I mean, I'm sorry, but those are the two that are up there. Those are the two that have been nominated. So again, we have to look back. We have to look beyond the person and look at what's at stake. Democracy is at stake. I'm sorry. This experiment is almost 250
What
years old right now.
our
Okay.
Oh, by the way,
our
can I give a quick shout
democratic
out?
republican our democratic republic is on stake because when honestly, I don't like to get onto it, but you can call yourself a patriot when you want to call for a dismissal of the Constitution. You can call yourself a patriot when you put down the country and say our country is horrible. You can't say you're a patriot and then talk about the army and not when the folks are coming in a coffin, you can't even show up to show your respects to that person that gave his life for our country. You cannot call yourself a patriot. That goes against being a
But they
patriot.
they have a different view of what a patriot is.
And
Okay.
they'll twist it to their advantage. Real quick, guys. I need to give a shout out to Mike Balamont is watching. How you doing, My brother Mike? And Abel Rodriguez is watching. So, hi, gentlemen.
Hey, gentlemen, Abel,
I'm
Mike.
sharing out my timeline. But anyways, to what Mr. Davis says is true. We have to look at the content. Yeah, the way it was delivered wasn't that good, right? But the content in regards to immigration or abortion or whatever it is, whatever you want to, your focus point is. But we need to understand that it's upon us. Now, I'm going to keep saying this, folks, to educate ourselves. Like, for example, okay, I
Hmm.
live in Peekaboo, Texas. Where can I go vote? Who are my candidates? Who's going to do this? Who? But you know what? What really frustrates me, guys, is a lot of times, 99%, well, I shouldn't say 99, let's say 95%, people with disabilities are ignored in conversations, locally, on the state level, even the federal level. Because when it comes to the campaigns, what do they say? Oh, it's transportation or whatever. But with people with disabilities, where are we at in that conversation?
Well, and again, that's another Blind United thing that we're trying to change as well. We can make that claim, but at the same time, the deaf community, they get everything they want. The folks in wheelchairs, they get everything they want. You know what I'm saying? The blind community gets left to the kick to the curb. Why? Because we're not speaking one voice. Those other disability demographics, they're speaking with one voice. That's why they have what they want. That's why they have what they need. So again, that's
Yeah.
just So
But
on that note as well, I want to shout out Miguel. He's in the chat here with us, Miguel Palomar. So I appreciate you for dropping in, my brother. So again, I want to look beyond the people myself. I mean, I know what Biden has done. I know he's going to do everything he can do when he is reelected. You know what I'm saying? I know what Trump is going to do. He's going to become a dictator on day one, as he said. And bottom line, I'm going to look beyond either one of them, and I'm looking at democracy. Democracy is on the ballot. If you want this thing to continue, you can't go with Trump, because if you go with Trump, it's going to be all over. Okay, I mean, I'm being honest. It's just what it's going to be. It's going to be a monarchy kind of situation. He's going to be.
yeah,
He wants to be like Putin. He wants to be like Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is down over there in North Korea.
and
He wants to be like old boy over there in China. China's right now. A lot of people don't even realize what's going on in the planet because we're so busy looking at these two folks up here arguing over at the debate. But China has put a blockade around the island of Taiwan. They want to take Taiwan, just like Putin wants to take Ukraine. That's what they do. Those folks, they just want to do land grabs. They don't care about people's independence or whatever. What do you think Trump is going to do? He's going to do the same thing.
well,
So
that's one of the things that kept happening in the debate. He kept saying, if I'm in office, they wouldn't do this, Putin wouldn't do this. And the thing is, he's talking like he is best friends with Putin.
he
So,
is.
so let's just put that out there. The way he talks about it, like I'm gonna have it resolved before I even get in office.
Right.
But,
As soon as I'm
so,
That's
elected.
ain't that
Pedro,
illegal to do?
but we have to understand this, okay? No matter, like you Pedro, and you, Mr. Davis, growing up kids, when your kids are growing up, female or male, you tell them, don't do this. Oh, I know better. Or don't do that. When it comes to politics, the followers of either Biden or Trump, no matter what we say, they're gonna say, okay, for example, Trump. Oh, he's the best. He's the best thing since bread. Or Biden, he's the best. But at the end of the day, like Mr. Davis was saying, look at the content, look at the background, look at the use common sense. Common sense will really take you a long way, because when you have someone saying that immigrants are invading, now mind you that word is confused in different contexts, is invading the U.S. and they're taking their job, they're raping our women, they're killing our kids. That's dangerous language. It really is, and he continues using it.
And he's going to continue using it. I mean, it's just that simple. He did nothing wrong. Everything he ever did was perfect. Everything he ever did was the best. All of this, all of that, again, is just the same old rhetoric,
But
that he's been preaching
So,
for.
so that makes him an expert in bankruptcy.
Well, I mean, he's
Chapter
definitely
11.
that. I mean, keep it real. He's
But
definitely that.
let's do this so people won't. I want to ask Pedro and you, Mr. Davis, a question. I'm going to kind of pivot away from this for a little bit. And I was thinking last night, Pedro, but Mr. Davis probably more versed in what I'm about to say. He might have to educate me. So when it comes to AI, and yeah, it's a big pivot, right, folks? George, people are like, "What the hell?" But when it comes to AI, now go back to politics a little bit. Did it improve the capability of websites being inaccessible? For example, like in the past, if I go into a website and they had a picture and it didn't have all text, right? Technically, I would be considered inaccessible, right, Mr. Davis, or not?
Yeah.
Okay, but now with AI, the picture smart, I can actually see what that logo is now. So is it still inaccessible?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes, it is
okay.
because
That
they're mandated to be accessible. They have
Out the
guidelines.
box. So
Yeah,
bottom
out the
line, they're
box.
supposed to be accessible out the box. The minute your domain goes live, you are supposed to be accessible.
And
Now,
George,
if you have to use another tool in order to make it accessible to you, I mean, the lawyers and all those powers that be, they want to say, okay, well, if you use this, you use that. I mean, same thing. A lot of people, they say, in our community, they will tell you that there's no such thing as an inaccessible website. You just got to learn how to use, multiple browsers, multiple screen readers, all this other kind of stuff.
um,
No, I
mhm.
90. I'm gonna go here and say 95% of us we use JAWS. Okay, so bottom line, and 85, 80% of us are basic users. I mean, there's not that many advanced users, right? So bottom
Yeah,
line, if your website is not accessible to a basic user using JAWS, it's not accessible. It's just that
yeah.
simple,
All right.
you
Yeah,
know.
I have an answer to that too.
So
I don't think it's 95% people that use JAWS. I think it's a little lower. We do have NVDA, we have narrator, and we do have some folks that cannot afford JAWS, and the state might not even pay for them and stuff like that. So I think it's less, um, and it's wrong for the websites and these lawyers to assume because they have a screen reader, they're all built the same. I don't see narrator with picture smart, so anyone that is blind and saying you need to use different multiple screen readers. Sometimes we have folks in our community that are not tech savvy, and that's around the half mark, and that alone, why do I need to switch screen readers
that
and
part right there.
take more time of my day to scroll through this website when they could have had it out the box already
Right.
prepared?
So
It shouldn't need
and and
take me
and,
to use multiple softwares just to do one task.
and I posed that question for a reason. And the responses that both of you are giving is perfect. So in other words, a webmaster or a company or whoever, they can't just turn around and say, well, like for example, how many times have we heard this? Well, don't you have your mom or your sister or your brother, can't they help you? No, it's supposed to be independent. Number
right.
two, it's supposed to be where it's straightforward. I go on there and use it as if I was cited out, like you said, Pedro and Mr. Davis, out of the box, and not have to do these turn around, clap my hands 4 times, and tickle my
Mm-hmm.
butt, and then it works. It's supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
straight out of the box, and it works. And the thing is, that's where we're going back to what you said, Mr. Davis. One voice, being united, because a lot of times we sit here, we'll fight among ourselves, NFB, ACB, and TBS, and all these other groups,
Alphabet
and when,
organizations.
but yet we're way behind the 8 ball when it comes to accessibility, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, people need to understand. You know what? We need to come together and work together to improve, our quality of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At least to come together at certain main issues. Now the underlying issues and all that, we could get at it slightly different. But when we go to Congress and want to deliver these main issues that we want to work on, it looks better when it's one unit together than units broken down into. You know what I mean?
True.
And staying within AI, I had a question to you guys. Now that there is more AI synthesized voices and stuff, I know I have heard a couple, but how I seen ads at this too. I seen ads like I heard one of our president, our former president Trump, saying, email and donate to us, get your free gold bar and all that. But I could tell that it was an AI because it was something was off. But what do y'all think about AI voices and trying to put them on advertisement and putting them on commercials, and they might not even be from that politician or whatever it may be. It might be from any other company. What do you
But
think
how
of
about
that?
this, Pedro? How about
Mm,
I'll even put more into it for us, our community. So for me, you and Mr. Davis, let's say we see a commercial or hear a commercial from Biden or even a celebrity supporting a candidate, and it's not that, it's AI. How can we, like you say, unless you pay attention, like there's something off regarding that, what? So it's kind of more even more difficult for us.
So I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was a few months back. I know everybody knows who the Lincoln Project is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so the Lincoln Project put out an AI generated video, okay, of Trump's daddy talking crazy to him. Boy, y'all left you with all this money, and what did you do? You done filed bankruptcy 8 times. I mean, it's like what daddy was scolding his son. They
Mhm.
got in trouble for that. They had to acknowledge that that was an AI generated thing, and that's where we're at now with that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So whenever that stuff's being done, they're supposed to acknowledge that that is AI generated and not the real person doing.
Mr. Davis, I think Mr. Mike Palomar made a comment about the voices. I couldn't really read it regarding
Let me jump
it
down
being
there.
a federal crime for someone to take a voice, which is true because you know when you do that, Pedro, when someone does that, intentionally uses someone else's voice for the wrong purpose, it should be a crime, right? I would think. I mean, because you're taking someone's
Well,
voice.
yes. Well, if you're doing more work and you're making money out of it, I guess yes, it's the likeness of a person. There is copyright against that. But these are guidelines that need to be already there. There needs to be something
Well,
on
again,
screen.
but
There needs to be a hold on. There needs to be something that will let us know that this is AI generated. I know they have shortcuts. Let me tell you how they could get around this. If they have an AI voice, but real video showing in the background, that's not AI generated video. So they could skip that whole step of letting you know that it's an AI generated voice.
see again, they've already said that it's part of what. Number one, let's back up a few steps. AI is so brand new that they are caught, off. They're not standing on both feet with this, right? They're trying to work this out as things get released. So again, they made the Lincoln Project put that in their thing about this. Miguel, a comment that George was speaking of it, like you said, if they make it a federal offense, it's basically it's fraud by using somebody else's likeness, somebody else's voice. If they make it a federal offense, it's going to stop. It's
Yeah.
just that simple, you know.
Also,
It would be like
Also,
a
I don't think it caught them by surprise. It didn't. If it caught them by surprise, they're not paying attention. I'm sorry to say. So if they caught these people in the
But but
office,
but
it caught
let's
them off attention. They was not paying attention. I could have seen this for years already. They've been putting out papers. They've been putting out peer review papers for almost a decade on AI and stuff. And our people in office didn't take care of this and try to set guidelines. Come on, come on.
but the
but
thing
Pedro,
is,
I'm sorry, George, but
go
let's
ahead.
go here, Pedro. Most of them folks up there in D.C., I mean, they ain't that far behind Biden. Okay, they're not all that tech savvy. They don't understand it. They damn self. And I hate to go here, but on the far right side, they don't know nothing about technology. Okay, they just out there. Oh no, they this and that, whatever. It has nothing to do with that. But again, you do have some younger folks in Congress that are more aware of it, but the
Mm-hmm.
majority of them are older, and they just not with it. They don't fully understand it. So I mean, that's what I mean by their. Not everybody's like you, Pedro. Not everybody's going to sit down and read all of these different new articles, all this new technology, all the new science that's coming out, all this other kind of stuff. They're not doing that. They're more, I mean, come on, man. Republican Party, look what they did, Supreme Court just did the other day. They made it legal to bribe a Supreme Court justice.
I know, and it's sad that is really sad right there. But see, they have staff that so if they don't know about this, then why they passing bills if they don't know nothing about it? That's why I'm kind of
But what
sad,
bills have
not
been
sad,
passed
but
as far
I'm
as, but what bills have been passed as far as AI?
No, but hold on, guys. But what Pedro's saying is makes a good point in regards to the staff. They have staff where they can research the topic, and not only that. Now, I think we spoke about this before. Now, they need less than a minute to sample your voice. Less than a minute. And then yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, Pedro.
Less than 30 seconds, actually.
Now they're going to introduce this pilot program that they're going to have holograms in the ERs because supposedly the wait time and I forgot what the essence of the paragraph was or the story, but now they're going to introduce holograms into the ER.
So, look, let me tell you. So, the news got all this first before our Congress people and people in office. There needs to be already setting up guidelines for this because I could see the abuse on this. They could start charging your insurance and say, yeah, he had a full doctor's visit and it was just a hologram. So there's guidelines that need to be set up. And I don't know the word that I want to use, but I'm kind of, I guess some folks might feel like this, that they're just waiting for this election period to get over with because they're not happy with the two choices, man. Look at the two choices we have. Like, they can't even grasp AI probably. And then going back to technology, some of the technology they ain't grasping, and I don't know
Well,
how we can move forward. People are
let me
divided.
bring. You said something about their aides and and stuff like that, their staff, all that stuff, right? So, Brittany, what was that? 16, 17 when we went to DC? Uh, 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 we are you there, Britt? I
Yeah, I'm
know.
here. I'm here.
Yeah. So when one of the bills that we had to, and it was one of them that I was working on. It had to do with accessibility and stuff like that for the college folks, right? And the platforms in which they receive their materials. Okay. So I'm in there, and we're actually trying to get a bill that would give them liability protection if they would use something along the lines of of voiceover, with Apple, or bottom line, make us part of the conversation, not an afterthought, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm relating to these aids by okay. I mean, Pedro, you know what Blackboard is?
It's like Pedro. It's like Moodle or Canvas. I don't know which one they're. You're in school, right, Pedro?
Oh
I think
no,
is he off? I think got off.
I don't hope not. But anyway,
Well,
so
yeah, like here at UTEP, they use Blackboard.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
bottom line, so I'm talking to these aides about this, right? Because you don't always get to speak to your congressional rep. Sometimes you have to speak to these aides, right? So anyway, I'm talking to them, and he says, "Oh yeah, I remember Blackboard. We was having trouble with that, and I got sight. Guess what? That bill never got passed. They knew about it. We're explaining to them, imagine the trouble you're having as a sighted person. Imagine the trouble we're having as a non-sighted person. Okay, but again, these bills never got passed, but they understood the difficulty in that technology. Okay, so again, it's just it's one of them things that we had to deal with or whatever.
And that's even the problem with that, Mr. Davis. At the end of the day, is that we have to get out more and advocate for ourselves or self-advocate, whatever it takes. Because when it
I'm
comes
back,
to
guys. Sorry.
that's okay. But when it comes back to come back to the topic of inaccessibility, either restaurant or website, it's upon us, to advocate for ourselves because, I mean, like I think you said it earlier, Mr. Davis. Wheelchairs accessibility has been in existence for many years. You go to a restaurant, a store, they have push buttons, they have all these restrooms, which is great. That's what it's supposed to be. But when it comes to us, like here in El Paso, 90% of restaurants don't have menus, accessible menus. But yeah,
Right.
if you go to like Austin, yeah, there's a lot more. Matter of fact, before I forget, Mr. Mike Sanchez is from Austin is looking in. But anyways, so it's like I don't know, like in your area, Pedro and Britt and Mr. David, how are the restaurants when it comes to accessibility? compared to El Paso or
It's
Texas?
a hit and miss. Like the
Mm-hmm.
chains, you can ask for a braille menu. Like if it's an Applebee's or a Chili's or a Red Lobster, Red Robin, they'll have braille menus. But like the mom and pops, they don't. You know, or if you're a guide dog user and you're going into a mom and pop location, they don't know the ADA usually, so they'll usually tell you, "Oh no, you can't bring this dog in here." You know, like that's
Well, oh,
usually a problem.
Miss Britt, before I forget, I knew what was going to come with the story, guys. I have, and I want everybody's honest opinion on this, and I want you to take it from both sides, okay, from the retailer side and the consumer. So what happened yesterday? I got a call, and then went to a Ross. Do you have a Ross there in California?
Yeah.
Of
Okay,
course.
so he went to Ross. He was looking for something. He's totally blind, and he asked somebody there to help him. Can I have sighted assistance? And you're laughing because you know what's going to happen here, right? So the manager came, and the manager said, "Well, you know what? We don't have no one to help you." And he said, "Well, I'll wait. I'll wait. Can you get someone?" He goes, "No, we don't have no one to help you." So would that fall into discrimination,
Yeah.
Miss Britt? Pedro, what do you think?
I think, look, with discrimination, I think that could be a last step, but also it has happened to me. I went shopping and I dropped some emails. I was upset at them that the regional manager contacted me, and she told me that she was going to get everybody, including the managers, and go into training because that's not tolerated. So you have to advocate. It happened to me in two
Right.
stores. I was frustrated. Look, I even had the line like this told to me. I need help in picking some items. Well, we're not here. We don't get paid for you to shop. And I told her, I didn't tell you to shop for me because I might not like your style. I didn't tell her that part, but I'm like, hey, I don't need a woman dressing me. And no offense to anybody, but I dress myself. All right. And I was upset. And I know, and the lady came off, well, we only have two people. Mind you, there was a cash register person and her. And then someone else got on the fucking loud. Oh, excuse my cussing. Someone else got on the loudspeaker and started talking. That's how I knew the lady was already lying to me. Why she felt the need to lie to me and also give me that line. Oh, well, they don't pay me to help you shop.
But Pedro, you know what? To be honest, with you, brother,
But well, I'm
I
sorry, George, but her paycheck comes as a result of you shopping.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But that they're not seeing that. What you was gonna say, George?
well, you see that's what before I was interrupted is that what you did by cussing. That's I appreciate that. I think Mr. David and Miss Britt appreciate that. People that are watching that has happened to them appreciate that because there is no reason for someone to say no. If you're a good customer service person, no matter what, you can say, you know what, I want to put this aside and help this gentleman, this woman shop because they can't see. Not comment, well, we don't get paid. No, 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 no. And so I understand your frustration. The reason
Yeah.
you're cursed because it is frustrating, and people don't
Right.
realize that. They don't realize that.
And
But
mhm.
again, within ADA law, it's called reasonable accommodation, whether it's somebody helping you shop or whether it's you sitting in a mom and pop restaurant and
I
they
think
and not being able to access their menu. A
well,
reasonable accommodation could be is it could be as much whether it's a barcode or whatever you can scan and get the menu, or as final as the waitress reading the menu to you. It's still an
you
alternative format.
yes, but see, that's a whole different environment there. The waitress,
What's
yes.
different about it?
When someone hold on. Let me finish it. Hold on. When you ask a waitress a question about the menu as a sighted person, they answer. So why as a blind person and I ask you what's on your menu, you have this, they're starting to give me feedback. Answer the question like you would have answered for someone that's sighted that wants to know what's on the menu. Okay. Number two, when it comes to shopping for clothing, it's a whole other thing because they're over there. I'm a stalker. Oh, I'm a cash register. Oh, I'm a manager. Oh, I'm not on the floor. That's probably their thinking. Okay. And the thing is, when I walked in there and I said, I need help picking some items, I didn't say I need you to shop for me. I told her after, direct me to the section that I want, and it was a belt. I don't need her choosing a belt. I just told her direct me to the section so I could pick what I need. And I told her, your job is to come back in 5, 10 minutes and tell me how I'm doing as a courtesy as a worker, right? That should be her job. I'm not telling her stay here with me, babysit me, or anything. I have my tools. Some folks might need a little more help than others, you know. But hey, I made a whole big old thing. I
and
wrote an email. I advocated these two stores and all that. Hey, I was pissed off because I had to use my technology, and not everybody is tech savvy. You know what I mean? And
right. And let me go here, Pedro. I'm not trying to cut you, but when I was going through training center, right, this is what they taught us because once at a certain point at DPI, you get to a point where you're done with I'm sorry, ILS, that kind of stuff. So
mhm,
now you can actually qualify to get the apartment. Once you get that apartment, now you live independently, meaning you don't go to the cafeteria no more. You got to cook your own food. You got to go shopping. You got to do all these different things. So what did they do? They taught us how to do that. And when we went to where I didn't care whether it was Target, Food for Less, whatever market chain it was, it didn't matter. When you go in there, if you don't know what a manager's desk is, a lot of times they don't have a manager's desk anymore, but you make your way to a cashier. You can hear them, right? You make your way to the cashier, look, I need some assistance doing some shopping. Guess who they give you? A box boy or a stocker. That's
mhm,
exactly who they get you. They bring to have one of them. They call one of them people to the front, and that person will, okay, come on, how are we gonna do this? And then you grab the cart, and okay. When I do that, I have a list, right? And then they take off on the list. And once we get okay, well, we're over here with this. Which one do you want? Which brand do you want? Whoa. When I'm doing the groceries. But my point being, it's always a bagger or a stocker. I mean, again, these comments that some of these people make, that's just their ignorance. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I mean,
yeah. But
even with talking with the waitress, if the waitress can't give you a straight response and you asking about something that's on the menu, if she gonna give you some stupid response, you know what? Let me speak to your manager, please.
yeah, exactly.
You
But
know,
and I don't know if this is a defense to the companies, but these companies are about the bottom line, so they only bring in people just enough to do the job, not for no extras, because what they're trying to do, save payroll. That's the object of the whole thing.
I mean, I get
So,
that part, but again,
and that's not an excuse, though. I'm just
what does ADIA law say?
look. Not everybody knows the law, Ed. I
Okay,
know.
but my point being, by them not following the law, now we have grounds to go after them.
And
They
one
opening themselves up to that liability.
one comment I've always made to businesses when we do advocating, I tell them, what, the ADA is set for us to be, an equal participant in society, and to accommodate someone that not only good customer service, it's the law.
It's
It's the
reasonable
law.
accommodation.
It's the law. Now, if it's cost prohibitive, then yes. And what I mean by cost prohibitive is one of those fancy words. If it's a cost you a lot of money to help me out, then okay, you know what? But if it's not going to cost, like you just said, Pedro, a box store, or I think Mr. David said, a stocker, someone's going to help me. But the point is, it's upon the person to say, okay, you know what? Yes, ma'am, I'll help you. Not, no, well, I can't do that, or I don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do, ask someone. Ask
Ask somebody.
Yeah,
your
yeah,
manager. You know.
yeah.
Exactly.
That
So
is true. Look, that's why I stick to certain stores. A very good store is kind of slightly expensive, but I even have managers walk me around and help me. And that's Target.
that
Target is Target. Look, if for anyone that goes shopping, Target actually pays IRA. So you could use IRA for free. They understand. Target understands. And even when somebody does a good job, folks, email that company. Get that worker's name and let them know how good that
okay.
worker was,
Do you
because
know why Pedro? Do you know why Target
yeah,
is so
I know why.
accommodating?
I know because there wasn't accommodating before, and that's why they needed to be checked, and now they
And
do
they
that.
got checked, and it cost them millions of dollars. Okay, to the point that where not only did it cost them millions of dollars, but they also now provide, not like you said, all the assistance you need within their stores. But you go down to Florida, jump on a plane, run to Florida. Okay, get your eye out, get your Be My Eyes out, get whatever technology you want to use out.
Oh my God,
You're
that's
gonna
another problem.
see, you're gonna see that the volunteers that are there, they call them volunteers because Target, UPS, different big corporations like that, they send people there to do. They're paying those people to be there. They're not actually volunteering. They're getting overtime for being there. But bottom line, part of their settlement is for them to provide these helpers at the national conventions.
Well, we
Okay,
mean
Mr. David, can I make a
we
quick comment? I just want to make sure that everybody understands that's watching and that is quote unquote able bodied, that's decided. Don't misconstrue our conversation as we're being gripey and bitchy. You have to understand these kind of conversations need to be made in the public where you understand that. So if you work at a store, you have someone come in that has a disability and ask for an accommodation, you understand when you say no how it impacts us. So just make sure you take that away from our conversations. That we're not sitting here complaining that everybody's bad. No, we want you to understand that when you deny us service, either be on a website, in a restaurant, don't matter where, that's against the law. Okay, because all we're trying to do is spend our money. Our money's green just as yours, right?
exactly.
so if I say if they give me some feedback and they tell me, oh, we can't help you or whatever, I could tell them by the ADA law, you need to accommodate me. I could just say that simple line.
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
the ADA law says you must accommodate me.
Yeah, that's why I stopped shopping in some stores, and it's sad to say that I have to stop shopping there. But I'm not gonna give them my money if it's not valued. If I'm as an individual ain't valued there, and they tell me stuff like that, hey, y'all could kiss it, and I'm gone.
No, I must. No, Pedro, you said a good word there. I think coming from our perspective, we want to be valued as a customer, either sighted or not.
Hmm.
But when you say no, just because I'm blind, that's where the problem lies. Okay,
Yeah.
it'll be like if a woman go in there, or no, because you're a woman, or no, because you're black, or no, because you're this. Oh, come on, really? It's just basis on what you have, and for us, we're blind. So when you say no,
Hmm.
it's against the law.
You imagine somebody in a wheelchair, they come in and the item that they want out of the supermarket is up on their top shelf. How they gonna get to it?
Good point. Very good point. Yes, sir.
I mean, so what? They need help. They need some. What are you gonna tell them? Oh, well, you need to go buy you one of them wheelchairs that'll lift you up to where you can grab stuff off the top shelf.
Hey,
Well, that's not my
if they
problem.
could, they would. If they
If they
could, they
could
would.
afford that chair, they most certainly would.
No,
You
I'm
know,
saying if you allow the companies to be able to say that, they would say that. Just
Yep.
like how you said, oh, it's up to the companies. Hey, we can't leave everything up to the companies because we need guidance and guidelines because sometimes things
But you
get
know what
gray.
it is too, Pedro, is that sometimes the employees or management doesn't apply common sense. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Because
another big factor.
yeah, they don't apply common sense when they're dealing with a customer,
Hmm.
and knowing that if I say no to this person, either whatever because they're in the wheelchair or blind or whatever, and you say no, you don't think there's going to be some kind of repercussion.
well,
And that's
again, there should be some repercussion, but again, it's across the board. I mean, just like I said, it was just what last week or whatever it was. I'm in a doctor's office, and the nurse is talking to my daughter. Well, I'm sitting right here. She don't know what's going on inside my body. I know what's going on inside my. You need to be talking to me. But the minute I
Hmm.
said, oh, I'm standing right here, you can talk to me. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Because you realize, excuse my language, you messed up.
Hey, and
As my girl Lakinia say, shut the front door. You just messed up.
Yeah.
right?
You just experienced what a ghost experienced.
So I mean, again, it's all about they all need to go through some sort of sensitivity training. I don't care what it is. I don't care
Hmm.
what business it is. You
But
Yeah.
need to
well,
get.
let me say this, and if it's true or not. Okay, and this is so. Let's say you go to a restaurant, right, guys, and there's a good experience. You have a good experience. They're accessible. Yes sir, no ma'am, and they read the menu to you. They know how to place the food in front of you. Aren't you gonna tell your friends?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. It
So
always.
So what I mean by that is, you treat us right, we're gonna spread the word on your company or your business. Hey, you know what? I went to, excuse me, Davis Diner, and they taught me awesome. They treat me awesome, and you know what? Why, next time we have a party, why don't we do it there?
Hmm.
So just keep that in mind too.
It works
well,
like that because we, like, my better halves group, they move like 20, 25 sometimes. And look, we have experiences when it's bad, and they still want to add a tip and gratuity and all this to the bill, right? Even though they treat us bad and we don't have no say so. And it's kind of messed up that we're not able to show it with our tip, how before. But sometimes I know as a big crowd, it's more work, but sometimes even in a small crowd, we get the little attitude from people in different businesses. It could be shopping, it could be eating out, it could be just dining out, and
It's not
sometimes
noise. Is that a cash
yeah.
uh,
register?
that's my printer. Somebody's printing something.
Oh, that was a
Mm-hmm.
cash register. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's the
But you know
printer.
what, guys? At the end of the day, you know, I'm glad we're having this conversation so people can see what we encounter. Like when Mr. David said, we go to a restaurant, talk to us. Don't talk to our spouse or our partner or whoever. Like, what does he want or what does she want? I mean,
Yeah, let me tell you my experience. Okay, mind you, I'm dealing with the Department of Rehab. Okay, I they wanted me to drop off some documentation real fast, even though I've been sending it to them for a long time. They had a time limit. They contacted me within the last, like, 3 days before I needed to go, right? They told me, can you go to this office? I told her, yes, I will go to that office, but can you talk to my counselor to give me a layout and how to get to her office? And she was like, okay, great. I will get all that stuff to you. The only thing the sighted person got to me was an address. So, mind you, I touched down. I'm trying to find my way. I don't find the office. I get to all these floors, nothing. Mind you, I'm doing them a favor, and and for her, and if she got in contact with my counselor, great. But if my counselor didn't send any type of directions or anything, they set me up to fail. They was not inconsiderate of my disability right there. A quick little walkthrough, a little text. Oh yeah, you go here, you go to this floor, you hop out, you make a left, makes us so much of a difference. I was lost there. Thank God I went into some office, and you know what? I found anybody I could find. Nobody couldn't, even the people that were walking in the office, they couldn't find the office. I had to go to a receptionist, and she had to hold up, let me close my window, and I take you. And it's sad because they're the Department of Rehab, and they're for what? For our field services and other things that we're gonna get, but it was not accessible to me. Mind you, the elevator had a little bit of braille and stuff, but no, there is no indication on where was the office. They couldn't even provide it in the notes. Even I asked, and it gets me frustrated because my counselor, she's visually impaired. She has an assistant, you know, that might take her around in that building, but that aside, I couldn't get some basic directions.
I agree. A lot of them are like that. Mine was per se, as you say, visually impaired. In actuality, he was. I would say I think he was more of a high partial.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he did have an assistant, as they call him, a reader, right? Help them out with
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing with their emails and all this
What
other kind
happened
of
to
stuff.
Josh?
But at the same time, they also, when they have to go out and do different things, like Greg, he's got one. When he has to go and do like a, say for instance, if he had a client up there at Wayfinder, that woman has to drive him all the way to LA so he can go do that meeting at Wayfinder. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is what they do. I mean, mine, they used to bring him to my house to drop off equipment and stuff like that, little trinkets and stuff he was trying to give me to keep me happy, little stuff that I didn't even need, didn't even want, but he was trying to pacify me or whatever. But because why? I went above his head. So again, it's sad. It's really, really sad. But, at the same time, just for those that don't know, that's the basis for us starting Blind United, because we see all of these various issues and we're trying to do what we can to try to correct some of these issues. And George, you did it again, my brother. We done went the whole hour. We ain't played near one of these articles we had.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
and
I
I
mean,
lost all control back here too.
we've had many meaningful conversations, so it's not a bad thing. But again, it's just that's what we're here for. We want to try to make a change when and where we can. So we are at the end of our time now. So
And you got to remember, Mr. Davis is union, so you can't go over that hour. So
we're already over, George.
are we? Are we?
This
Oh,
is
okay,
overtime, George. I hope you're counting your overtime minutes, okay?
Cool. Remember, overtime, the first team that scores. Not really.
But yeah, folks, we just can't put it out there enough. Go vote, make your voice heard. Don't think that you don't have a voice. There's a lot in our community that think they don't have a voice, but go out and vote. No
Yeah.
matter your
Yeah.
background, no matter, if you're blind, if you're not, if you're white, if you're black, if you're blue, if you're red, whatever. Go out and vote.
Go vote. Go vote. So on that note, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Come check us out with Greg at 2:00 and get some help with your DOR case, and then come back and see us at 6:00 and enjoy a good descriptive movie with us. So on that
Thank
note, you guys
God
have a
it's
great
Friday.
day, and we will talk to you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Monday, lunes. All right,
Woo
later.
woo.